शफिकुर रहमान। मतलब आदमी ने कुछ लाओ।
Hello. Yes, sir. Vishal sir is logging in, sir. Dr. Vishal. Sir, Dr. Vishal, welcome, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening. Good evening to all panelists and Sweta madam. Sweta madam, am I audible and visible?
Yes, yes. This is from support.
Yes,
You are
yes.
audible. You are visible. Can we go live on audience link?
Yes, yes, sir. You can, please.
Netcast, please start the recording and make it visible for delegates.
And I suppose you are going to be playing the slides, right? The slideshow is going to be there from your end.
Sir, no slides and no PPT presentation.
Okay, we will
only
be
question and answer.
Yes.
Yeah, we are live on audience link.
Hi, Dr. Vishal. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Shardul. All well?
All well, all well.
कहाँ San Francisco में?
अभी तो online है. That's the only way you can be in San Francisco.
Yes, sir. So, can we start, sir?
Yes, yes, of course. Let's start.
Okay, so good evening all. On behalf of Alchem Laboratory, India's fifth largest pharmaceutical company, I, Pradeep Upadhyay, Regional Sales Manager of Alchem Aspiria, welcome our eminent doctors who have joined us for today's panel discussion, Views on Vildagliptin. At Alchem, it has been always our endeavor to partner with healthcare professionals. We will continue to do so even in these challenging times. To help us to navigate through the meeting, we have with us today Dr. Vishal Chopra, who will be the moderator for today's panel discussion on views on Vildagliptin. We would like to take this opportunity to welcome moderator of the day, Dr. Vishal Chopra. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Alchem, and thank you everyone on the behest of Alchem to invite me to moderate a beautiful session with such eminent friends, good diabetes specialists, good clinicians, and good colleagues of mine. And it's always my pleasure to moderate such kind of a session where we will be having a group discussion and we will be understanding the science behind the molecule and why this molecule is so important or holds the main key in the management of diabetes. Please go ahead.
Thanks for your kind words, sir. So just to brief about Dr. Vishal Chopra. Dr. Chopra is renowned senior diabetologist and thyroid specialist, has enormous more than 16 years of experience in managing diabetes and thyroid. Dr. Chopra has his own diabetes and thyroid center at Chembur East, and Dr. Chopra has affiliated to Dr. L.H. Hiranandani Hospital, Powai, Zen Hospital, Chembur, has numbers of articles published on DPP-4 inhibitors in drugs 2015. Dr. Chopra have also chaired national and international conferences like RSSDI, CID, Isacon, IMA, etc. Doctor has delivered important and numerous talks in national and international conferences. Welcome, Dr. Vishal Chopra, sir.
Thank
I
you.
also would, yes, sir. I also would like to introduce, welcome in our panel discussion of vildagliptin, Dr. Manish Sachdev, a renowned diabetologist from Thane with rich experience in diabetology. Dr. Sachdev has done his MBBS from Grant Medical College in 1990, diploma in diabetes from Annamalai University 2012, postgraduate fellowship in diabetology from DY Patil University 2018. Doctor has been a member of ADA, EASD, RSSDI, IMA, TDMA. And if we talk about extracurricular, Dr. Sachdev is achievers of a regular marathon run of 10 half and 2 full marathons, having WhatsApp group also for gestational diabetes mellitus patient, type 1 diabetes, type 1 diabetes mellitus patient, type 2 diabetes mellitus patient for their education session, and he takes the session on regular basis so that they can be updated. So welcome Dr. Manish Sachdev in our panel discussion of Gluvilda.
Thank you, Pradeep. Hello, Dr. Vishal. Hi, Dr. Shardul, Shariful. Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello, Dr. Manish Sachdev. How are you?
Hi, fine. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hi, Dr. Ashwin.
At this juncture, I would like to welcome Dr. Sharif Tadvi, sir, well-known MD physician from Navi Mumbai. Dr. Tadvi have passed his MD in 2006 from Grant Medical College and JJ Group of Hospital, Mumbai, having rich experience in diabetology and cardiology, practicing from last 15 years in Navi Mumbai. Welcome, Dr. Sharif Tadvi, in our views on vildagliptin panel discussion.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
Good
Hi.
evening, sir.
Hello, good afternoon.
I would like to also welcome Dr. Shardul Kothari, sir, a well-known diabetologist from Sion. I've done his MBBS in October 2000 from Grant Medical College and Sir JJ Group of Hospital, Mumbai.
GM site.
GM side. Chakaraka check.
Then his diploma in diabetology, January 2004, gold medalist in TN Medical College and BYLCH Hospital, Mumbai. He is the honor of Director of Diabetes Specialty Clinics, Sion. And sir is also attached with Mata Lakshmi Hospital, Susa Citizen Cooperative Hospital, Somaiya Super Specialty Hospital, Sion. As a diabetologist, Dr. Kothari was also a principal investigator in H and GARD studies on vildagliptin. So welcome, Dr. Shardul, in our views on vildagliptin.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation today.
My pleasure, sir. And also, I would like to welcome Ashwin Bhosle, sir, a well-known physician from Navi Mumbai. Done his MBBS from Terna Medical College, DNB in General Medicine from Jaslok Hospital and Research Center, Mumbai. Has been associated with Terna Sayadri Hospital, Shususa Hospital, Niramaya Hospital, and Soyas Hospital with a rich experience of almost 15 years. So welcome, sir, in our Gluvilda panel discussion.
Thank you very much, and welcome everybody. And good afternoon, Dr. Vishal sir.
Good afternoon, dear.
Yeah.
So
Dr. Vishal's voice is so much full of love and affection.
Yeah.
What
Thanks,
अच्छा लगता
Manish.
है.
Yeah.
We would like to invite Dr. Vishal Chopra, sir, to set up the context and start the panel discussion. Over
Yes.
to Vishal, sir.
So at the behest, let me invite each and every one of you, including the audience, those who are sparing this valuable time to understand the importance of using vildagliptin in the management of type 2 diabetes. Molecule is not new. We've been using it for last almost 1.5 decades. 2007 was a time that this molecule was introduced in this part of the world. And then since then, we've been using it. Pan Mumbai is there today with the likes of Manish, Shardul, Sharif, and also Dr. Ashwin Bhosle. And so today, what are we going to achieve with this discussion is basically we are going to come out with this some kind of a consensus that vildagliptin should or must be a part of almost maximum number of prescription Why choose vildagliptin above any other DPP-4 inhibitors? And why this recent plethora of these economic vildagliptins which have been available? Why exactly should we be choosing the nicer part, the better part? And also vildagliptin science behind this particular molecule as regards. And today we are not going to be discussing only about DPP-4. We're also going to
चले गए.
Yeah, cannot hear.
about CV safety and so let me get the ball rolling.
Your network is not.
Let me get the ball rolling and let us start. Yes, Manish.
Yes. Go ahead, Vishal. Yes.
Yes. So let us start with the first ball of this test match. Okay. So the first ball, I would try and ask Manish. Manish, you're looking very handsome as usual. Okay. And apart from your glorified career of your marathon running, I'm sure you must be running around everywhere.
Not much. Very peaceful. Only one place. When I listen to your attachments, I really feel surprised that how you all manage so many attachments.
So let's see. And you're looking. So Manish, would you like to enlighten the audience about the mechanism of action of the DPP-4 inhibitors?
Yes, it is a very novel and logical molecule.
Right.
In around 1900, first time Starling came up with the idea that there is something in the gut which is helping sugar to be controlled. And then incretin word was coined by Labar in around 1930, where he said that there is something in the intestinal cells which produces more insulin compared to the same load given IV. So this impact is called incretin effect. Intestinally created insulin. And this intestinal insulin secretion is glucose dependent. And when that happens, when food is going into the stomach and small intestine and large intestine, GLP-1 and GIP are released, which stimulate the pancreas to secrete insulin glucose dependently. And as these chemicals are released, peptides, they immediately are destroyed by DPP-4 enzymes in the brush border of intestine.
Right.
If it were not so, the organism would die of hypoglycemia. So this is a natural protection against hypoglycemia. But in Indians and Asians especially, this effect is enhanced or exaggerated. And then these incretins are destroyed rather very quickly, leading to a contribution to hyperglycemia and type 2 diabetes, which is mainly postprandial. So this is the way DPP-4 inhibitors, when they inhibit these DPP-4 enzymes in the brush border, they allow this GLP-1 and GIP to act little longer, thereby bringing about more insulin into the system and better control of the sugar.
Okay.
So this is incretin effect and DPP-4 inhibition.
Fantastic. So I'm sure audience must have taken this message from Manish, which was so beautifully and lucidly explained that first of all, DPP-4 inhibitors belong to a group called as incretins, and these are basically secreted from these enterocytes, the small intestine, and why it was it needed. And especially so, these particular molecules act in a very glucose dependent manner. So the chances of hypoglycemia secondary to these particular molecules is practically negligible. With a very minimal beta cell stimulation, these molecules hold an edge over other strong anti-diabetic agents like sulfonylurea, that they do not cause any hypoglycemia. Fantastic, Manish. Thanks for this wonderful explanation. With this, let me bowl a googly to Shardul, because you did mention that in Indians, especially so, we have a better way of DPP-4 inhibition, and these molecules act better in Indian. So, Shardul, would you like to take this question on, are Indians different from others when it comes to a response by a DPP-4 inhibitor?
Yeah, Vishal. So first we have to understand why Indians are others in terms of diabetes. So we have most of our patients and most of us which are thin fat Indians, as we call. So for a lower BMI, we are actually more obese. we have more insulin resistance.
Hmm.
And because of these facts, we are, you can say, even as compared to the Caucasian population, we developed diabetes probably a decade earlier. We have a slightly lesser beta cell reserve. And these are the facts which actually makes DPP-4 a very ideal agent to be used in the Indian population, where it has, a glucose dependent stimulation effect. So it works really well when it comes to glucose dependent insulin secretion. It does help to a certain extent in beta cell apoptosis. So again, it helps when we have a lesser insulin reserve. And because of these facts, I think so DPP-4 inhibitors do have a very good effect in the Indian Asian patients per se. As compared to a sulfonylurea, which suppose you are using a sulfonylurea, you are likely to exhaust the beta cells much earlier. So you are starting a sulfonylurea probably on a patient who already has a lesser beta cell mass, and when you use a sulfonylurea, you'll eventually exhaust the beta cells faster. So in Indian patient, I guess DPP-4 inhibitor, particularly vildagliptin, is a very ideal choice.
Okay. So again, thanks for this response, Shardul. So what Shardul did mean to say that when we use DPP-4 inhibitors, when you compare the effect and the efficacy of this molecule, keeping Indians and Caucasians, you have a better response in Indians as compared to the Caucasians. And because of this, this makes the molecule different. And this makes us understand that we need to take more attention towards use of every molecule in Indian subsets of population as compared to what the Western line of population. So the results cannot be compared in both the arms similarly because we have a different pattern of response. And similar responses are also being seen in metformin. Not only it's with DPP-4 inhibition, but also in metformin. Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Shardul. So with this, I would like to move into my third colleague, Dr. Sharif. If I can have you on the screen. So, Dr. Sharif, when we talk about metformin, what would be a suitable add-on to metformin? When we talk about first lifestyle change, we always start with the diabetes treatment with the diet and lifestyle. And we always start with first oral anti-diabetic agent, considering metformin as a baseline. What would be your view on the first add-on to metformin, if at all your metformin fails to control the blood sugars? In your clinical practice, what are your ways of treating patients?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Just now we have discussed the mechanism of action and how DPP-4 inhibitors are doing well in Asian and Asian population. So if you look at the treatment failure with metformin as a primary treatment failure on monotherapy, we always look for the drug which is suitable and having a good glycemic durability as well as good bioavailability and having a low side effects or very few drug interactions, because most of the patients with diabetes, they have comorbidities, so they are on multiple pills, including the pills for hypertension as well as other cerebrovascular diseases and cardiac pills they are taking. So whenever we are looking for the second option, we should look for the drug which is more suitable for the elderly as well as those who are suffering from the diabetic complications such as nephropathy and cardiomyopathy. So if you look at the DPP-4 such as vildagliptin as per the age study and verify study, and as per the DCGI approval given in 2008 as an adjuvant to the diet and exercise, DPP-4 with metformin, these combinations are doing well in a diabetic with comorbidities. So they have a good glycemic durability as well as they are safely tolerated by the elderly patients and those who are at a risk of having a hypoglycemia, such as the senile patient, those who are above 75 years of age. So vildagliptin is very safe in such cases, and those who are having a mild renal dysfunctions, where the dose adjustment is required with the other oral hypoglycemic agents, but with the vildagliptin, no dose adjustment is required. So if you look at the multifactorial these actions of the vildagliptin, as well as the safety and efficacy, as well as tolerability of the vildagliptin in a diabetic type 2 diabetes patient with elderly, I will go for the DPP-4 inhibitors such as vildagliptin as a adjuvant therapy with metformin when there is a primary failure.
Wow. So good explanation. I suppose, Sharif, you did the synopsis of the whole RTM today in this. So we finished discussing almost everything, and you did mention about the tolerability and acceptability of this particular molecule in all generations of patients. That is very good, and that is the main reason vildagliptin is very well accepted. And more than any randomized control trial or anything, it is a real-world evidence amongst the clinicians, which makes this molecule much different from any other molecule used in the practice. You did mention about the Verify trial, and Verify did talk about a lot. Now let us understand more about Verify. Manish, let me give you this bouncer. So Verify trial results, I'm sure you are aware of it, and this was not a new trial which has come out. And this Verify trial result, has it changed your prescribing practice in your management of type 2 diabetes?
Vishal, even before the trial was out,
Right.
I was always a believer in combination to start with. Of
Fantastic.
course, these trial results have reinforced my belief in the molecule and combination.
Good.
Hit hard, hit early is the right thing. And the success duration is definitely more than this single molecule metformin. So combination was being used, and now it is used with conviction.
Fantastic.
And evidence. So Verify has strengthened my belief in the combination, but it was used even before the trial was done.
Right. So again, very beautifully and very sweetly explained that a Verify trial result again endorses the opinion that combination treatment, hit hard, hit early, lowest is the best. All these sayings hold true when you talk about good glycemic control. And if you're aggressive right in the beginning, when you're using a combination treatment, definitely nothing better than combination with vildagliptin. Fantastic, Manish. Thanks a lot. When you talk about combination treatment, let me come to Dr. Ashwin Bospe. He's been a silent spectator right now. Let me awaken him. So, Ashwin, let me understand, when you use a combination treatment with any other drug, any other anti-diabetic agent, how has been your experience of vildagliptin with the combination with any other anti-diabetic agent? How comfortable are you using vildagliptin with other anti-diabetic agents like SGLT2, sulfonylurea, metformin? And if there are any trials, can you just enlighten us about it?
Yeah, a very nice question and a very practical one as well. So in combination, vildagliptin has been used with most of the molecules, various molecules, starting from metformin, as Dr. Sharif had mentioned earlier. The HbA1c reduction with metformin in combination can be achieved up to 1.4%. And higher the baseline HbA1c, the more is the HbA1c reduction when used in combination.
Right.
The advantage of this molecule is it has a glucose-dependent insulinotropic effect.
Right.
So when used alone in monotherapy, we can achieve HbA1c reduction of 0.7% to 0.8%, which is similar in comparison with all the DPP-4 inhibitors. However, when used in combination, the higher the HbA1c baseline, the more is the HbA1c reduction in combination. And this can be seen with various molecules, be it sulfonylurea, be it metformin, which is the primary line of treatment, along with lifestyle modification, and even with insulin. So with the newer molecules coming, SGLT2 inhibitors, even with that, we can use this molecule safely. And the risk of hypoglycemia, since it is a glucose-dependent insulinotropic molecule, is very, very, very minimal. And I have hardly seen any hypoglycemia occurring when used alone or in combination with metformin and SGLT2 inhibitors. So we can safely use this molecule depending upon the renal functions and the hepatic functions. So later on, I'll be enlightening you about this molecule if time permits. So present knowledge, we can safely use this molecule along with metformin, along with SGLT2 inhibitors, along with sulfonylurea. So all these combinations have given very good results, and the risk of hypoglycemia is also minimum. Only the chance of hypoglycemia occurs when the other molecule which is used in combination has a tendency for hypoglycemia, like sulfonylurea and insulin. So if we adjust the doses accordingly, then I think the chances of using this molecule without any side effect is much better, and used judiciously, we can achieve our patients target HbA1cs with greater impact.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Dr. Bhosle, because he very correctly said that the molecule is safe enough to be used. It's well tolerable. At the same time, there are no presently none or other drugs which cannot be combined with vildagliptin. However, the only combination which we should be away from when you are using a DPP-4 inhibitor is a GLP-1. So you should not be combining a GLP-1 with a vildagliptin or a DPP-4 inhibitor, but otherwise, these molecules can definitely be combined with any other anti-diabetic agent, oral or injectable, minus the GLP-1. And with this, I come to Dr. Sharif. Dr. Sharif, अब आप मुझे भी जल्दी से बता दीजिए the vildagliptin and whether there are any known drug interaction that we should be worried about when we are using vildagliptin in our clinical practice.
Sir, vildagliptin has a very low potential for drug interaction because cytochrome P40, P450 enzymes are minimally involved in metabolism of this drug. So clinical pharmacokinetic studies have reported lack of any drug interaction with several drugs such as metformin, pioglitazone, simvastatin, amlodipine, valsartan, and ramipril, digoxin, and warfarin. So there are very few or minimal or negligible drug interaction with these important drugs whenever we are giving vildagliptin. But with some drugs such as acaribos, they are showing hypoglycemia. And with acetozolamide and with acetohexamide, they are showing increased therapeutic efficacy. So very minimal or negligible adverse effects or drug interactions seen with the vildagliptin. So DPP-4 inhibitor, as far as vildagliptin is concerned, is very safe.
Agreed. So vildagliptin is safe, it's tolerable, it's efficacious. So we have already proven 3 points, and it can be combined with any other anti-diabetic agent. Thanks a lot, Dr. Sharif. With this, let me ask Dr. Ashwin, come back to Dr. Ashwin again. You did tell me that you will enlighten us about some more effects of vildagliptin. Can you tell us something more about the cardiovascular outcome trials, if at all there are, with any vildagliptin? Because we don't hear about many landmark CVOT trials with vildagliptin.
Correct. So this was what I was going to come about, and since the CVOT trials with vildagliptin, the CVOT outcome trials with vildagliptin are very minimal, or we have very less number of CVOT trial. However, the clinical safety and the trials whichever are available to us, depending upon that, the supratherapeutic doses of vildagliptin can lead to QT prolongation. However, these doses like above 400 milligram is not being used in clinical practice. They can lead to QT prolongation. And the doses whatever we use in clinical practice up to 100 milligram is very safely can be used, and this has not shown any QT prolongation side effect. However,
that's right,
we have to be careful in using this molecule along with drugs which can lead to QT prolongation. So that is one thing. Second thing, as a baseline in clinical practice, we can have one ECG where and repeat that ECG after 1 hour and 8 hours to ascertain whether there is no clinical evidence of QT prolongation in while using this molecule. The other thing is this molecule has not shown any evidence for hospitalization for heart failure or any other cardiac failure event. However, in some studies which I have come across, there was some indication regarding left ventricular mass volume increased, left ventricular volume increased, but that was not significant to give rise to a significant cardiac failure event. So as of now, what I see this molecule, though there are some cardiac caveats which we have to be very careful in using the molecule in our clinical practice, but in my long practice of say I'm using this molecule after 2010, I have hardly seen any such event occurring in the clinical practice. So we can safely use this molecule in the scenarios mentioned.
Fine. So we accept this part that this molecule is not only tolerable, efficacious, it's durable, but at the same time, without any major CVOT studies behind the vildagliptin, it has shown that it has per se no serious adverse cardiovascular events. Okay, very well accepted, very well point taken, audience, along with me. So with this, we move on to a question to Shardul. You've been sitting silently for long now.
Cannot hear you, Vishal. I think so. The network issue is there.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
So if there is a patient who has atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, are there any reservation when you use this molecule?
No, so per se, DPP4 inhibitors have proven that they are safe when it comes to the MACE events. So in all the trials, there has been no increased incidence of MACE events with DPP4 inhibitor as compared to say any other drug. That said, there were some issues with increased hospitalization for heart failure with actagliptin and to a certain extent with allogliptin. So that makes it they have to put it on the literature that those are the patients where we need to take care. But and when it comes to vildagliptin, there is no issues. There have been no increased incidences of heart failure or, for that matter, increased MACE events, and hence is a very safe drug for a cardiovascular patient. And in clinical practice, we have been using this drug since last 10 years. So in practice, we have seen that it's a very safe drug for all the cardiovascular patients, and I am using these patients for my cardiovascular patients. Also, along with the SGLT2 inhibitors, since they are like the first line agents if the patient is having a ASCVD, but vildagliptin is very much there.
Okay, so again, thanks a lot, Shardul, because this is very enlightening that in spite of not having a major CVOT study behind them, the backbone of today's treatment is basically to have a landmark CVOT behind it, and then the companies come and market a lot. But this particular molecule has shown the metal of steel, and it has actually withstood the times wherein we are talking about CV safety, renal safety. Okay, let me come to Manish about the renal safety. Manish, could you please enlighten us about the renal safety, and should the dose of the vildagliptin be modified as per the eGFR of the patient?
Vishal, I think Manish has left because of some emergency.
Okay, so Shardul.
We cannot hear you, Vishal.
Yeah. So let me put this question again. So renal safety of vildagliptin, do we need to modify the dosage of vildagliptin? So let me answer this question being a moderator. That vildagliptin is one such molecule which has a 84% clearance by the kidney, and therefore whenever there is a declining GFR, we are supposed to modify the dose of the vildagliptin. However, in recent times we have seen that as per the creatinine clearance, even in moderate to severe kind of kidney disease, wherein the eGFR is approximately 10 to 15 ml per minute, we can safely use that 50 milligram of the drug dosage once a day. And when you're combining it with any other anti-diabetic agent, especially so in a declining kidney functions, we need to be careful about glycemia. does not cause any adverse renal outcomes. At the same time, vildagliptin has definitely shown that it also has an impact on to reducing the endothelial dysfunction. So in a long run, vildagliptin has shown to be one of the wonder molecules, can be used in the diabetes management along with safely with any other drug. So Shardul, with this, I come to this question that when you use vildagliptin at various stages, what are the stages where you would consider using vildagliptin, at what dose, and how would you keep on reducing the dose of the vildagliptin in the staging of the kidney disease with respect to the kidney disease? Yeah.
So, vildagliptin dose, as you rightly said, needs to be modified as per the GFR. That said, moderate to mild renal dysfunction, no dose adjustment is required. So that we go by a GFR of more than 60 in case we are regularly measuring. In a case where the eGFR is less than 60, which becomes moderate to moderately severe, in those cases, the vildagliptin dosages should be reduced from twice daily to once daily, and it does work very well.
Okay, fabulous. So, very correctly answered that when you talk about vildagliptin, especially so in the declining kidney functions, you need to modify the dose as per the creatinine clearance. But 50 milligram once a day, also in a declining kidney functions or declined kidney function, works as well as 100 milligram twice a day. So, fabulous. So let me ask Dr. Sharif. Dr. Sharif, would you enlighten us about vildagliptin? Can it be used? You did mention about safety and tolerability in elderly subjects. When you use this particular molecule in elderly subjects, elderly patients, how comfortable are you using full dose of 50 milligram twice a day, or are you comfortable using it in a lesser dose?
Yeah, so thank you, sir. As far as discussion is concerned, till now we are agree with the concept that vildagliptin is very safe and well tolerated in elderly patients, as per the Dr. Shardul, Dr. Ashwin's and our discussion. So, except in few cases, elderly patients are they are tolerating this vildagliptin very well in elderly with type 2 diabetes, and only in some few cases dose adjustment is required, such as hepatic impairment and some cases of renal impairment. Otherwise, because the elderly patients and those who are above 75 years having some kind of renal impairment, some kind of cerebrovascular disease such as Alzheimer's, dementia. So most of the times there is a attitude or tendency of eating less or loss of appetite. In such cases also, irrespective of the food, this could be administered to the elderly patient. So vildagliptin is very safe irrespective of the meals. That does not cause the hypoglycemia, or hypoglycemia is not observed in these elderly patients, because most of the times elderly patients, they fail to recognize, or they fail to notice, or they fail to mention the hypoglycemic episodes in some cases when they are on oral hypoglycemic agents, and they may land up in very severe lethal hypoglycemic events. So vildagliptin is very safe in such elderly patients, and as well as vildagliptin is having very negligible drug interactions, and there is no weight gain, and it improves the beta cell functions on a long term and long use. So long and sustained glycemic durability and HbA1c reduction is seen in such elderly patients. So no need, there is no need of changing the oral hypoglycemic agents as and whenever there is a this hypoglycemic or hyperglycemic events. So vildagliptin is very safe in such cases, and very less physical in this if side effects are seen, such as nasopharyngitis or body ache and muscle pain. So vildagliptin is very well tolerated in such elderly patients. So I will advise to continue the DPP4 such as vildagliptin in elderly.
So I'm sure the audience are taking this message very correctly. Thank you, Dr. Sharif, that vildagliptin is one such DPP4 inhibitor where you do not have to adjust the dosage, especially so when you're using it as per the age. Elderly age group, you can use it 50 milligram twice a day, definitely with no kind of disadvantages, and there are no interactions. So it's a very well tolerable DPP4 inhibitor oral anti-diabetic agent. So Dr. Shardul, I would like to ask you this question about the renal safety. We did talk about that declining renal function, we need to adjust the dose. But what about when you talk about hepatic dysfunction, can the DPP-4 inhibitor like vildagliptin be used safely in a full dose with declining hepatic function?
So we just discussed the point earlier that basically it is a very extensive one second.
These are your vacation photographs. Yeah.
1 minute.
Yeah, first class.
Yeah. So we just discussed that vildagliptin is one molecule which is extensively metabolized, but mostly by a non-cytochrome P450 pathway. And it has a negligible protein binding. So that makes it, very less drug-to-drug interactions of any other drug with vildagliptin, which are metabolized with this pathway. So that said, it is a very safe drug that way in terms of interactions. But we have literature that if the patient is having a hepatic dysfunction, is hepatic enzymes are more than 3 times the upper limit of normal, then vildagliptin should not be used in those patients.
Great. So only in patients where would you be measuring the LFT prior to using vildagliptin, or would it be only a SOS basis?
I think since it is a very rare, it is a more like a clinical judgment on a SOS basis. All these years we have been using this drug extensively, and in spite of the literature, it's not that we had to stop a drug because the hepatic enzyme started rising. Unlike say we have used a AKT drug and we have to use the hepatic function monitoring so often. It's nothing like that we have to monitor it so often. But that said, we have to keep it in mind if patient complains of any symptoms like that, then checking the hepatic functions makes a case.
Okay. So again, it's a well tolerable, it is efficacious, it is durable, it can be combined with metformin and with any other oral anti-diabetic agent, can be safely used with the same dose in elderly age group, can be also used as per the creatinine clearance decreased dose, but without loss of efficacy. One of the most wonderful drugs, I would say, vildagliptin in the management of type 2 diabetes, wherein safety, tolerability, durability, everything is proven beyond doubt, and we have a real world evidence from the clinicians, those who are treating it. Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Shardul. With this, I open this question to the whole forum, that in this post loss of patent era, how are you looking vildagliptin? What is the future of vildagliptin? Let all the panelists answer this. Starting with you, Shardul. Yeah.
So I think it's a fantastic thing for all the patients that vildagliptin is available. It is definitely less costly, so more patients can afford it. That said, my only question is on the once a day preparation, which I have not been using very often, rather not using at all, because I don't really believe in that once a day thing. And that in clinical practice also, there has been more variation when we are using it once a day. I think so the best way to use vildagliptin is twice a day, as we have been using it till now. And being off patent really gives us the opportunity to use this in a wide number of patients.
Yes. Shardul? Yeah. So Ashwin, yeah. Ashwin, would you like to share your views in this post loss of patent?
Yeah, that's the wonderful thing which has happened to this molecule, the post loss of patent, because more and more patients can use these molecules in an affordable manner. And we see our Indian patients who have to pop up so many pills, and the cost of daily medications is increasing with the COVID era, with many job losses happening. So more so, like, the cost of the molecule has been reduced, so there is ample of opportunity for clinicians like us to use this molecule, which has a nice durability, and to maintain our patients with a reasonable cost in good glycemic control to prevent further complications related to diabetes, which is a dreaded disease and a silent killer. So this molecule, after the expiry of the patent, has come as a boon to us clinicians, where we have got options to use this molecule upfront to get our HbA1c on target, and within no time to get our patients target HbA1c controlled so that micro and macrovascular complications can be avoided or prevented.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Ashwin. Sharif, would you like to share your views in this post loss of patent? Do you have anything else to say?
This is the good thing happened, the loss of patent, because most of the patients are afraid of taking insulin whenever there is a monotherapy, dual therapy, or triple therapy failure. So in such cases, they can afford because now the drug is economical and they can afford it. And just now, Dr. Ashwin said, in this COVID era, they lost a job and a lot of economical burden is there on the patients as well as patients and the burden of family members on them, because family most of the times 2-3 people, mother, father, or the patient, the individual himself is taking the anti-diabetic as well as antihypertensive or other medications. So the burden, economical burden is more. So in such cases, and as well as to improve the quality of life and to keep the adherence, and we need a good molecule such as this, like vildagliptin. This loss of patent happened, so we can consider vildagliptin in such cases whenever there is the people are reluctant for insulin and economical burden is there, and we want to give the good therapy to this patient for glycemic durability and HbA1c reduction and maintaining our glycemic goals. So this has happened, the vildagliptin, what we can say, the good thing happened to the vildagliptin, the loss, post loss of it.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Sharif. Thanks a lot, Shardul. And thanks a lot, Dr. Ashwin. And thanks, Manish, who is presently not available. So it is wonderful to discuss about a molecule which was, I would not say long lost glory, but it is still existing. And it is definitely one of the major landmark molecules which was introduced in 2007. And we've been using it left, right, and center in treating or managing our type 2 diabetes patients. Without this molecule, without having any major cardiovascular outcome trials behind its backbone, still has shown that it does improve cardiorenal safety, at the same time does not lead to any adverse effects, can be used safely in patients with declining kidney functions, however, with reduced dosages. Similarly, in declining hepatic functions, definitely you need to check it only when there is a need, can be safely tolerable in elderly patients. So in a failing sulfonylurea monotherapy, in a failing metformin treatment monotherapy, you can safely start with the combination treatment with vildagliptin. In fact, in our routine patients, we always begin we start our treatment of type 2 diabetes with a combination treatment, of which vildagliptin, because of its reduced cost, as Dr. Sharif has enlightened, that has become more affordable. So there can be no effect or outcome which can be talked about if the patient does not continue the medication for long period of time. So here we have the medication which is durable, efficacious, which is now affordable with even the poor and the lower middle income groups as well, which hosts the maximum number of diabetic population. So I would understand this is a win-win situation for both the clinicians as well as for the patients in the present era, and we are lucky to be practicing in this present era of managing diabetes. COVID has brought about more than 1 crore of diabetes patients in this country, and therefore the burden of diabetes in this country will be enormous. Molecules which can be available at an affordable cost like vildagliptin will definitely help in reducing the cost of complications because of a good glycemic control. So I wish you all very, very good luck in your practice, and definitely a very healthy evening practice. And with that, I would like to conclude this session of vildagliptin discussion. Thank you, audience. Thank you, Alchem. Thank you, each and everyone, for participating in this discussion roundtable meet of vildagliptin. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vishal.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
For moderating our panel discussion, and all the panelists, Dr. Ashwin Bhosle sir, Dr. Sharif Tadvi sir, Dr. Manish Dev sir, and Dr. Shardul Kothari sir, for sparing your valuable time with us. We would like to thank all the doctors who have joined this panel discussion. I'm sure you will get this appreciate this panel discussion of vildagliptin panel discussion. We salute all our doctors, paramedics, medics who have contributed immensely for keeping us all safe and healthy in this challenging situation. We at Alchem Laboratory will ensure to serve our doctors and patients by making our products available, especially at our chronic brands like Chopiros, Olchem, and much more affordable brand Gluvilda, which costs 5 rupees for 50 mg, 6 rupees for M500, and 7 rupees for M1000. And recently we have introduced Gluvilda OD, which is costing just 10 rupees at per tablet cost. So thank you very much, doctors, for being a part of our this panel discussion.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you, Alchem. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.